All right, so today we're diving into something a little different.
Oh,
Yeah, it's all about flirting tactics.
flirty.
Flirting tactics, and specifically the kind aimed at men,
Okay.
trying to, and I quote, drive women wild.
Drive women wild.
Yeah, you heard that right.
Wow.
The source material is a bit bold, let's say.
It definitely sounds like it makes some assumptions.
It does, right? Like there's one magic formula that works on every woman out there.
Yeah,
But even if the tone is a bit much, I think there's still something to be learned here.
I agree.
We can unpack these techniques, see what makes them tick.
Right.
Maybe even learn a thing or two about social dynamics along the way.
Absolutely. It's like a behind-the-scenes look at how some people think about flirting.
Exactly. So tactic number 1, playful disqualification. This one's all about suggesting you're not totally impressed, like you're making her work for your attention.
Interesting, because on the surface, it seems counterintuitive, right? You'd think being complimentary would be the way to go.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But this is all about scarcity,
Scarcity.
acting less interested to seem more valuable.
Ah, so it's like playing hard to get.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And there's a psychological component to it.
Oh,
When something's scarce, we tend to perceive it as more desirable.
I see.
But here's the catch. It can backfire.
How so?
Instead of confident, you might seem insecure
Oh.
or even manipulative.
So it's a risky move.
Yeah.
The article gives this example. You and I could never get along. You're way too stubborn, I can tell. Is that supposed to be charming?
Well, charm like beauty is often in the eye of the beholder.
True.
It all comes down to delivery and context.
Okay.
Imagine that line delivered with a sly smile, the glint in your eye. It could be playful,
Yeah, I guess so.
but said with a flat tone or a condescending smirk, not so much.
Yeah, it would fall flat.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about reading the room, isn't it?
It is. Social intelligence is key,
You have to gauge the other person's reaction and adjust accordingly.
for sure. All right, next up, reversing the roles. This one's all about acting like she's the one pursuing you.
Ah, yes, I've seen this one attempt.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can work,
Yeah.
especially if it's done with a sense of humor.
Humor.
It's a bit of role-playing, a way to inject some playful energy.
I see. The example they give is, whoa, stop undressing me with your eyes already. I don't know about you, but I'd probably burst out laughing if someone said that to me.
It's definitely a bold move,
Yeah.
and it requires a certain level of confidence to pull off.
Yeah.
The key is to deliver it with a lighthearted touch.
Okay.
If you're too serious, it can come across as arrogant.
We're just creepy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So self-awareness is crucial here. You have to be able to read the situation
Right.
and the person you're interacting with.
And this brings up a larger point about all of these tactics.
That's it.
None of them work in isolation. They have to be part of a larger dynamic,
Okay.
a genuine connection you're building with the other person.
Because ultimately, it's not about tricks or manipulation.
Right.
It's about creating a fun, flirty interaction where both people feel comfortable and engaged.
Exactly. Speaking of engagement, are you ready to delve into tactic number 3? This one's called push-pull,
Push-pull.
and it's a bit more strategic.
All right, let's hear it.
So this is the one where you show interest and then suddenly pull away.
You got it. It's about creating a sense of unpredictability, a bit of an emotional roller coaster.
An emotional roller coaster. So you're saying you give someone a little attention and then just pull back?
Yeah, like create a sense of, wait, what's happening?
It sounds a bit like playing games, to be honest.
Well, it can be, if it's not done authentically. The idea isn't to toy with someone's emotions,
Okay.
but to create a spark. Keep things interesting.
I guess the article gives this example. You're so cute, I hate you. I mean, what is the other person even supposed to make of that?
It's definitely one of those that could go either way.
Yeah,
Trying to be playful and edgy, but potentially missing the mark.
totally. The success of this tactic hinges on, you guessed it, delivery and context.
It always comes back to that, doesn't
It
it?
does.
Yeah.
So how would you deliver that line in a way that actually works?
Okay, so imagine this. You're having a great conversation, laughing.
Yeah.
There's genuine chemistry. You deliver that line with a mischievous smile,
Yeah.
a playful tone.
Okay.
It's almost like an inside joke,
Oh, yeah.
acknowledging the absurdity of the statement.
Okay, I can see how that could be fun. But what if the other person doesn't get the joke?
Right.
What if they take it seriously?
That's where reading the room comes in again. You have to be attuned to the other person's reactions.
So if they seem confused or put off by your playful teasing?
You back off.
Okay, so essentially all these tactics are about walking a tightrope
They are.
between confidence and sensitivity.
Exactly. You have to be confident enough to put yourself out there to take a playful risk,
Right.
but also sensitive enough to read the other person's cues and respect their boundaries.
Seems like it'd be easy to overthink all of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, do you think there's a danger in getting too caught up in these tactics?
Yeah.
Trying to script every interaction?
Totally. When you're too focused on executing a technique, you lose sight of what really matters.
And what's that?
Genuine connection. Flirting should be fun, spontaneous.
Yeah.
A way to explore a potential connection with someone. If it feels like a chore, a strategic operation, it loses its charm.
Yeah, totally. I mean, who wants to feel like they're being manipulated?
Right.
Or part of some psychological experiment?
Nobody. And honestly, the most attractive quality you can bring to any interaction is authenticity.
Authenticity.
Being yourself.
Yeah.
Being present.
Yeah.
And genuinely engaging with the other person. That's what leaves a lasting impression.
Okay, I think I'm getting the bigger picture here. These tactics aren't some kind of foolproof formula.
No, they're not.
They're just tools. And
Yeah.
like any tool, they can be used effectively or ineffectively.
That's a great way to put it. The key is to use them consciously with respect for the other person
Right.
and never at the expense of your own authenticity.
So let's circle back to our source material. This article claims to have the secrets to making women go wild. Do you think these tactics actually live up to that promise?
I think it's important to remember that any advice that claims to offer a one-size-fits-all solution to something as complex as human attraction
Yeah.
should be taken with a grain of salt.
Right. Because every person is different.
Exactly. What works on one person might completely bomb with another.
Totally. And honestly, I think the article's framing is a bit misleading.
In what way?
It suggests that the goal of flirting is to elicit a specific reaction from someone,
Okay.
to make them feel a certain way. But that's not how genuine connection works.
You're right. It's not about manipulating someone into feeling something.
So instead of trying to make someone go wild, what's a healthier approach to flirting?
It's about creating a space for mutual attraction to unfold organically.
Okay.
It's about being playful, being present,
Yeah.
being genuinely interested in the other person, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to let a spark ignite if it's there.
That sounds a lot less stressful than trying to remember a bunch of tactics and lines.
It is, and it's much more rewarding in the long run, because when you connect with someone on a genuine level,
Yeah.
you don't need any tricks or manipulations. The attraction is real, and that's what creates a truly memorable and fulfilling experience.
Okay, so we've dissected these flirting tactics. We've talked about the psychology behind them.
We have.
And we've explored the importance of authenticity and respect. What are some key takeaways you hope listeners are walking away with today?
I think we covered a lot of ground.
We did. I think it's been really valuable to kind of unpack all of this.
It's easy to get caught up in the idea that there are secret formulas,
Yeah.
for attraction, but the reality is much simpler.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, just be yourself, be respectful, and just see what happens.
Exactly. And remember, flirting should be fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you're not enjoying the interactions, probably not the right approach.
Yeah, that's a good point. It shouldn't feel like a chore or like some kind of performance.
No.
It should be lighthearted, a way to create a playful connection.
Absolutely. Speaking of connections,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Have you ever tried any of these tactics yourself?
Well, maybe not these exact lines, but I've definitely played around with the idea of like playful teasing and reversing the roles.
Sure.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it's a total flop.
It really depends on the person and the situation.
It does. You need that spark, that chemistry.
Absolutely.
And I think the most important thing is to be present,
Yes.
to read the other person's cues, and just adjust your approach accordingly.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's about being adaptable and responsive, not rigidly sticking to some script.
I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Don't try to force anything, just be yourself and see what happens.
And remember, even if a particular interaction doesn't lead to a romantic connection,
Yeah.
it can still be a valuable learning experience. Every interaction teaches us something
Oh, that's true.
about ourselves,
Yeah.
about how we connect with others, what we're looking for
Yeah.
in a partner.
I love that perspective. It kind of takes the pressure off.
It does.
And allows you to approach flirting as just a fun and playful way to explore connections.
Right.
Rather than some high-stakes game you need to win.
Precisely. It's about enjoying the journey, not just focusing on the destination.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of flirting tactics, what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
I would say this: the most effective way to drive someone wild is to be your most authentic, engaging, and respectful self. That's what creates truly magnetic and irresistible energy.
Beautifully said. I think that's the perfect note to end on.
It is.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's been a pleasure as always.
Likewise. And to our listeners, happy flirting.
Yes, happy flirting.
Remember to have fun, be respectful, and most importantly, be yourselves.